Hey, what up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be reacting to 5 super volcano eruptions that could end humanity. Guys, I know that super volcanoes are events that will probably never happen in our lifetime, but it's always interesting to speculate about stuff like this, because it's a possibility. That's why the fact that it's very, very low possibility, but it's still a possibility. And I really think I'm really looking forward to see whether if Yellowstone is here in this particular 5 volcanoes that could end humanity, because I actually think it should be. If you haven't subscribed, please help me out, hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate it. Now let's get into the video.
Supervolcanoes are large volcanoes that have at some point erupted with enough power to displace at least 240 cubic miles of earth or magma. They're the largest eruptions our planet has ever seen, and to make matters worse, they're not exactly extinct.
Yeah, they're not.
The scariest part is that there are actually supervolcanoes located on Earth that have yet to erupt.
Really?
And others
that have yet to erupt in history, like
eruption. From Yellowstone to Lake Toba.
Okay, Yellowstone.
Here are 5 of the most dangerous supervolcanoes on Earth. On the Pacific island country of New Zealand lies Lake Taupo. It rests on the caldera of Taupo Volcano, the region's supervolcano. The first of its numerous eruptions occurred 300,000 years ago. However, its most recent super eruption, known as the Oruanui eruption, was a mere 26,500 years ago.
No, it's not a mere.
It's the one that is responsible for the shaping
it's still
of the
a long time
in
ago.
which Lake Taupo sits. The volcano is unique in that it is made up of multiple volcanic vents which can produce separate eruptions. There was one known as the Hatepe eruption that occurred sometime between AD 180 and 233. Which ejected nearly 29 cubic miles of material. 7.2 cubic miles of this material was ejected in the span of only a few minutes. While it doesn't quite qualify as a super eruption, it definitely makes the Hatepe eruption the most violent one in the last 5,000 years. What is the outlook for this volcano? How safe are we? Well, there is a little bit of concern here. Taupo is not dormant. It is active, spewing small eruptions from time to time. However, it has a pattern that can be followed, which shows that on average, there is a major eruption every 1,000 years.
At least can be planned for.
But it has been about twice that long since the last major eruption. If this pattern is accurate, that means there could be cause for concern. The scariest prospect.
That's interesting. I mean, if there's a pattern of like 1,000 years, and so far that time has passed, so it's due. By that calculation, it's due. So that is really, really scary. Wow.
Super eruption. Should that happen, major global effects would be felt that could possibly spell trouble for humanity. The country of Indonesia is a chain of islands that is part of the volcanic Ring of Fire.
Every time I hear of Indonesia, I'm always like, oh, I know there are so many volcanoes in that country. Not just small volcanoes, big ones. So, I mean, for such a small country.
Surrounds the Pacific Ocean and includes mountains and volcanoes in numerous countries. One island in Indonesia, Sumatra, is the home of Lake Toba. The lake sits in the collapsed caldera of a supervolcano that last erupted 75,000 years ago. At the same time, it was the site of the largest explosive eruption in Earth's history. The lake is 62 miles long, 19 miles
so the volcano
wide,
caused this lake.
1,657 feet deep. This not only gives you the scale of the lake itself, it shows you how massive the volcano actually is. When it last erupted, over 2,800 cubic kilometers of magma were ejected. 800 cubic kilometers were deposited as ashfall. As a result, all of Southeast Asia was covered in 6 inches of ash, with some areas seeing up to 30 feet of coverage. The eruption was so large that it is believed to have caused a genetic bottleneck in human evolution, nearly leading to our extinction. Our population was reduced to between 3,000 and 10,000. Although the eruption happened many centuries ago, scientists predict that this volcano will explode again, with possibly the same, if not more disastrous effects.
Damn.
Evidence has been put forth showing that the magma chamber under Lake Toba has started filling again. Seismic activity in the area has also greatly increased, even producing the earthquake that caused the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami that killed over 230,000 people. Now that the population of the Earth is much higher, the damage from the same explosion would be much more catastrophic and result in the death of billions. However, some scientists believe that the next eruption could be even bigger than the last and bring about the coldest and longest ice age in history.
guys, this, I mean, the guy that is making this video is making it sound so chilling. Like, I'm actually like so immersed in the video. I'm actually thinking, man, could this actually happen? I mean, I've always found volcanoes to be an interesting topic. So that's why I'm kind of like a nerd when it comes to volcanoes. It's really, really interesting because when you look at it, like, could it actually happen? Maybe in our lifetime. Could it? Wow, that is scary. Really, really. And Indonesia has other volcanoes. That is the scary thing. I wonder how people in that country, I wouldn't be able to stay there. I would relocate. Seriously. I would emigrate out of the country because I would just be looking at, thinking that a volcano could erupt anytime. But I guess maybe if I was there, I would understand how to plan for it. Maybe there are ways to plan for it. I don't know. But that is just terrible. That is just very, very scary, man.
One of the most beautiful and peaceful places in America is Yellowstone National Park. It is home to a vast array of wildlife and is packed with absolutely stunning landscapes. One of the biggest things that Yellowstone is known for are the geysers that exist there. The most famous of these is Old Faithful.
This thing is caused by volcanoes.
Towers of boiling and
volcanoes.
Acidic water into the air. There are many other geysers and hot springs. However, it does leave people wondering, what causes scalding water to burst out of the
very
ground
obvious.
like that? In actuality, the beautiful Yellowstone National Park sits in the caldera of a massive supervolcano that last erupted nearly 630,000 years ago. Will it ever erupt again? Well, it is considered a dormant volcano, which means it's only asleep. The park sits atop 2 magma chambers, huge voids under the surface, filling with magma. The most shallow of these chambers is the most concerning to scientists. It is incredibly massive, measuring about 55 miles long and 25 miles wide. And yet, it only sits between 3 and 10 miles beneath the surface. If it did explode, how soon
3
would
to
it
10
happen?
miles.
Well, it's difficult for scientists
from the
to
surface.
say. They've been measuring the ground above the magma chamber for years, trying to detect movement. On average, the ground has been rising about 0.6 inches per year, indicating that the magma chamber is filling, putting pressure on the surface. However, between 2004 and 2008, the upward movement of the ground averaged about 3 inches per year. But if it were to explode, the size, violence, and heat generated would make most nuclear explosions seem minuscule. Nearly 80% of the continental United States would be covered by debris. and the ash cloud that reaches into the atmosphere could block out the sun for years, resulting in terrible winters which most, if not all, of humanity would not survive.
Damn. That is really, really scary.
La Garita caldera may not be one of the most well-known supervolcanoes in the world. However, it is one of great significance.
Is it in the US?
Just outside the town of Creede in southwestern Colorado is the San Juan Mountains.
I didn't know about this one at all.
It is here where you can find the La Garita caldera. The eruption that created the caldera ranks as one of the largest known volcanic eruptions in history. But it was not a recent eruption. It occurred around 27 million
years ago. It's too long ago.
The size of this caldera is a monstrous 22 miles wide and 62 miles long. The explosion destroyed nearly every bit of the land that is present-day Colorado. The Fish Canyon Tuff is the ash flow that resulted from the eruption. It covered an area that was at least 11,000 square miles and an average of 330 feet thick. Some areas were buried in up to 500 feet of ash. In terms of its power, the La Garita volcanic eruption was nearly 5,000 times greater than the eruption of Mount St. Helens. It was one of the most devastating eruptions ever known to have occurred. Today,
let me hear that again. That is crazy. Guys, I know about Mount Helen eruption. I think I've seen it. I've seen a video about it before somewhere. Like I don't really know. I can't really remember the details. I'm not even sure I even listened to the video properly. But I saw it. I think that was like maybe 8 to 10 years ago that I saw that video. I think so. Not really sure. So the point is that I've seen the video about it before somewhere. So I know about Mount Helen. I think it's in the US, right? It's Mount Helen in the US. So he just mentioned, and from what I heard, it was a very, very big volcano. Even if it was not like a super volcano, it was big. So if he just mentioned a rate here, let me listen to that again.
The La Garita volcanic eruption was nearly 5,000
That's what I wanted to hear. 5,000 times of Mount Helen. That is monstrous. That is really, really monstrous, man. Damn, that is monstrous. This is really scary. What do you guys think about all this volcano stuff? I mean, telling you guys that in my country, God has blessed us with no natural disasters. The only natural disasters that we have are human beings. But countries like the US have all these natural disasters. I just saw recently, I saw on the news in Florida, hurricane. I mean, we don't have things like that in my country. So it's really, really like, what do you guys think about this? Those in the US or those in countries that have this kind of natural disasters? Tell me down in the comments, what do you guys think about all this?
It's greater than the eruption of Mount St. Helens. It was one of the most devastating eruptions ever known to have occurred. Today, the La Garita caldera is considered to be extinct.
Extinct or dormant.
Does that mean that we're out of the woods? It's hard to say. Scientists don't seem too concerned. However, with this supervolcano being so close to the Yellowstone supervolcano, it is worth keeping an eye on. Certain areas of the Andes Mountains have been hotspots for volcanic activity throughout history, such is the case of Cerro Guacha, a caldera located in southwestern Bolivia. It is considered to be a part of the Central Volcanic Zone, which is one of 3 volcanic zones in the Andes. The caldera of this massive volcano measures 37 miles long by 25 miles wide and stands 17,200 feet above sea level.
Damn.
When Guacha was active, its eruptions were incredibly violent. Nearly 4.2 million years ago, Cerro Guacha erupted with incredible force, producing pyroclastic flows that ejected over 17 cubic miles of rock and ash. Then again, nearly 1,000,000 years later, another eruption occurred which ejected over 35 cubic miles of material. Such eruptions, along with the ash clouds, were thought to have killed nearly every living being within hundreds of miles. There has been no major activity in recent history. Also, the knowledge of this caldera's history is relatively unknown, as it wasn't even discovered until it was identified by satellite imagery in 1978.
Wow.
Few to no humans have been in the area due to the unforgiving terrain. However, scientists have been able to conduct some tests, reading geological results from surrounding areas and calculating what happened in the past, along with what could happen in the future. But if the past is any indicator, the future could look quite bleak for this part of the world.
Man, guys, man, what do you guys think about all this? I seem to be. Sometimes I think that, like in my country, a lot of people don't really know about things like this. Most people don't know about things like this. Most people don't even really care. We're all just trying to eat. We're just trying to make ends meet. So people don't really care. And to be fair, we don't really have any natural disasters here. So it's understandable why most people don't even really care. But in countries that have this potential of having these natural disasters, if you are watching this, what do you think? What have you ever thought about a situation like this? And thinking about it, I don't know whether there's a video for it. Maybe you guys can recommend it to me if it's there. I will search it myself as well. Like if you nuked a volcano. Because something just crossed my mind while I was watching the video when this guy was talking about Yellowstone. I was thinking of a situation since Russia and US apparently are enemies for some reason. What if Russia sent a nuke on Yellowstone to ignite an eruption? It's something that just crossed my mind. I don't know whether I don't know why I'm so sinister, but I'm pretty sure this is not an original thought. I'm sure that someone has thought about this before. I'm very, very sure of that. I don't think I'm some kind of genius. I just came up with this. I'm sure someone has thought about this before, and maybe there's a video for it. I'll check it out myself. But if you guys know of any video, put the link down in the comments for me to go and check it out. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Take care.